Hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. So, everyone's talking about it. Vibe coding. What in the world is vibe coding? So, it's pretty cool actually. It's not bad. I've used it a couple of times. Uh, Hold up though. Let me adjust some values here. So, vibe coding is basically, wait a minute. No, my playlist. Vibe coding is basically using an AI to create applications. Hey Grant, what's up? Now, we can use a lot of different AIs, but it's a very good way to learn how to program, especially when you have an idea and you want to see how it works. And there's a lot of, I guess it's a good way to start, but you're going to run into situations where something may not work, and you got to understand a little bit about programming in order to kind of fix it. Either tell the AI how to fix it or use your own coding skills to fix it. How you doing, Grant? Thanks. It's pretty chill. It's a little bit like a visualization for the music. Actually, it comes with Winamp. It's like a little music player. Very old music player. So it's gonna kind of go through. That's good. Hold on, where's my chat at? There we go. Put that up there. So, have you used AI before, Grant? Ever seen how to use an AI? Like ChatGPT is one, Grok is another. There's all kinds of ways to apply it. Well, definitely a good time to begin. At least the two ways. I'll give you an idea how you can work with either an AI on your computer, which does require a pretty strong graphics card, or you can use like something like ChatGPT or Grok. There's a lot of options. But when I use it, I basically use it to learn. Anytime I want to learn something, how does this work? How does that work? How to create an application like we're doing in JavaScript. Ah, very cool. Getting into the fractions, gotta get used to those. Maybe we'll do math next time, huh? Maybe it's time to get back to it because school's almost coming back, so maybe a good time. So, let me throw this over here. Ugh. And here's kind of how we can get started. Yeah. We'll do some fractions. What is it, Wednesday? We'll do some fractions on Wednesday. Do you know what a fraction is in the form of the big bar in between the numbers? What operation is that, by the way? What do you think? Little pop quiz on stream. What operation is the bar between the numbers? What do you think? It's division. You're dividing two numbers. You're dividing or trying to see how many times the bottom number can go into the top. Remember, the bottom number is the denominator. And the top is the numerator. So, good to remember. Little pop quiz. Alright, let's see. So, here's a couple of ways we can do vibe coding. Oh, are you repeating? No. There we go. So, if you have an AI installed on the computer, Normally, it's going to be from something called Olama. Oh, the llama. It's kind of weird name. But Olama functions as a host for AI models. And thank you. And anyone can basically install it. The problem is trying to run that particular model, or depending on which one. Oh, the llama. It's Ollama. But yes, oh llama. Oh, that llama though. It's very simple. It's just a white background. You know, it's not too crazy. So Olama basically functions as a server. You have a choice of what kind of AI you want, but you need one of those. Ah, careful. Yeah, Nightbot, it's a new thing. I had somebody post links in chat, and it was a bad link. So I added this little bot to take care of that, but I don't like that. It should just remove the actual link, not warn. Let me see. That's something I might have to modify. Let me see. Yeah, so try not to post links, but it shouldn't. All I wanted to do is just to remove the links, not to act as a kind of warning system. Let me see. Let me see if I can modify this before it does any chaos. So basically, Olama is going to act as the host for the models. The models are smaller files, well, big files, pretty decent size. Once you have the application installed, it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of sits down here in the corner. Yeah, there's moderators. I'm trying to kind of keep things under control, at least without too much casualties. But you know, when you have moderators, things can go wrong when you don't want them to. Let me see. How's the music? Can you hear it? Is it too low? Should I put the music higher? A little bit? Okay. There, just a little bit. So, I think, yeah, you can download it here, install it. I'm not sure. Yeah, they have a Mac version too. The problem is, yeah, you can potentially install Olama on the computer. The only problem would be is when you use a AI. Now they do have pretty small sized AIs. They're not that crazy useful though. They're kind of dumb. They're very not intelligent. Artificial non-intelligence, but at least it's something. So you install this application. Then, oops. You can pick from a bunch of different models in here. These are basically, you can think of them as applications, but higher. Here's a little bit higher. But you can basically use the model to act as a artificial intelligence on your computer. So for instance, one of them is called Mistral. Where is it? There it is. That's one of my favorite ones, Mistral. Mistral. And if I want to run it, I type in the command line, which we kind of went over before a little bit. Olama run Mistral. And then it gives you a little send a message. Well, what happens from here? I know dance. Lol. From here I can say, hey, what are you? I'm a model for a text-based AI system. How can I help you today? And this is running directly on the computer. So let's see if we can make me a basic HTML template. Boom. So the AI has a very good set of code knowledge. So if you remember, this should be familiar. Grant, yeah, look, body. There's the HTML. Look how quick it did it too. It was pretty intense. And using AI, you can basically code stuff. Let me... It's sometimes not going to work as perfect as you'd hope. But for simple things like this template, it'll be fine. I wanted to do, and this is called, yeah, AI can help a lot. This is called vibe coding. What is vibe coding? Oh. Ah, true. This is something new. So here's where the limitations come in. The limits of the local AI, these models are basically trained up to like 2023. So if you want to know history, if you want to know programming, basically everything before 2023, the year 2023. Other than that, there are ways we can do this online with like a Grok, Super Grok. Oh, they upgraded the sucker, true. Is it 4 yet? No, okay. So let's say, what is vibe coding? This would be the more intelligent version, but not for free. So this is the X Grok version. Vibe coding is an informal term for programming in a relaxed, intuitive, or creative flow state. Enhancing casual, something's messy approach, like hacking together prototyping. Lo-fi beats and neon lights, certain aesthetic or energy. I suppose, alright, in a way. I thought it was more like with the AI systems. Anything to do with using AI as a base coding strategy? Can intersect with using AI. I guess so. So because we're using AI to kind of rapidly prototype ideas, it's a much more chill way to code. So it's a little bit of a aesthetic, a tool we can use to better our coding. Oh, let me see. Okay, links. Can't really do links. Filter out allows you to time out and whitelist links. It's very limited. I wonder if I can make an AI for that. So for instance, here's what the document here is going to look like. I'm going to copy this. Throw it in here. And then save this is base template .html. And remember, when you watch code, you get to learn a lot just by watching other people, right? So there's a basic template. Basically what we did before. Let's see what Grok does here. Let's kind of play around with these. Create a basic HTML template website. Probably going to be a lot more advanced. There we go. It's got a little bit of a navigation happening here. There's a first section, second section, third section. My vibe site. Appropriate. So take that, save that, Grok template.html. And then I can open it up right here. So, big difference. This is the Grok version, Simple Chill website template. That's funny. And you can essentially create... but there's a bug. You can already notice something's weird happening here. I can't scroll down further. So sometimes you're going to have issues like this happen. Trying to go down, I can't really see the section of the text. It's not letting me scroll further. So, how can I fix that? Well, this is where our knowledge, of HTML comes into play. So right now, this section is fixed. You notice when I'm scrolling up and down, this bottom part stays there. That's what position fixed means. It basically stays glued to the screen wherever it would be. The width is good. The height's a little too large. I can probably fix it by changing the height to about 50. Too much. Maybe like 50 pixels. That's a little better. How about 25 pixels? A bit better. Now there's a weird, yeah, that's fine. I just don't like the alignment of this now. Footer, what's the footer like? Text align center. Width, height, text align center, background fixed. Man, I guess I can fix it without using the position. And now it's going to be down here without it sticking onto the bottom. So that's another way we can do it. So we can remove that little position. I can also comment it with Control/. So it's kind of not sticking down there. So that's better. Now we can see the page much better. Now the cool thing is, I wanted to do a little bit more. I wanted to try actually. Create a JavaScript and HTML game let's do this. Snake game, where the snake is controlled by the arrow key. No, let's do WASD keys, and the player must move around the grid and eat the fruits. Yep, a snake game. Let's see what it does. Nice. There's our JavaScript. Nice. I mean, it's going to be a lot of code. A lot of code. So how do we put it together? That's really the key, right? Let's see if it actually does look pretty decent. That's kind of the question too. How much can my local AI do versus something online like Grok? That's a pretty big question there. So the first thing is we are going to approach this like a regular web page. So I'm going to scroll up, find the basic here. So there's our HTML set. I'm going to grab that, copy it. Create a new file, save that as snake.html. Then the CSS, this is all of the styles that we've done before. It's not a lot, actually. So I'm gonna put this right here. Oh, actually, we haven't learned this yet, but we can use files in different locations. So we can actually take a secondary file, and that's called the CSS file. So style.css, that'll organize the details. Now then, I think I might adjust this a little bit. Let's make a folder called snake. I'm gonna move snake inside of snake. Then, now that it's got its own little folder to keep it organized, because I don't want to mix it with everything else. In fact, let me make a folder for templates. Always keep organized. Base template. Rock template. And I think that's good enough for now. So I'm going to create this style.css, styles.css. We don't have this file yet. So I'll click on my snake, HTML, create a new file, create styles.css. Haha, what's up, Tetu? What's up? Welcome in. I'll take that piece of code I just grabbed from my AI, and I'll throw it in here. So it's really important to kind of identify what kind of code you're looking at. So here we've got our basic HTML. It's kind of trying to tell us that too. The CSS is in here. And then finally the JavaScript. So we got to figure out and see how it's organizing it. And I thought it would. It's creating a new file, or it's trying to use a new file. And it's the snake.js file. So I'll grab, or have to create it, and it's all in the same directory. This is kind of important. We can create it anywhere on the computer, but we gotta keep it on the same folder location. So I'm gonna create a new file, and I gotta name it accordingly. So this script source is snake.js. So I'll throw in snake.js. Oh, wrong code. And this is the, well, this is kind of the basic variables, initial variables. Okay, that makes sense. So throw those variables in here. We've got the game container. What it's doing is it's grabbing the element by the identification. And that's the game container, which is right here. So it's grabbing this and saving it into a variable, which is nice. It's saving it into game container, and then we got some game width, game container offset width. That's some extra variables that we can attach to our game container. Game height. So it's identifying what the size of that game container is. Because the key to remembering variable usage is that on the right side of the equal sign is where the value we want. And then we've saved that value into the left of the equal sign. In this case, we're grabbing the value from the game container and saving it into a new variable for us to use later. And it's a shortcut. Basically, instead of having to do game container offset width every single time, we want to just use a simpler variable. So it's a shortcut. So we do the same thing with game height. And then a grid size, because we want this game to have a specific sizing. So it's probably going to be 20 by 20. We've got the apple, the fruit the snake is going to eat, the apple position. And here we go, a little bit of math. We've got an x-axis and a y-axis. The x-axis, and this is a bit of a interesting space. I've highlighted the specific values for the x-axis, because notice the comma, that's where you want to kind of focus on as a separator. That comma is telling you there's two things inside of this list. So the first thing is something called an x variable, and that x variable after the colon is defined by this whole big old equation here. Now, we've got to kind of hunt down the details. It kind of starts here. We take the game width, which is from the variable up here, divided by the grid size, 20. Then we create a little bit of a randomness to it. This is how we can make the spawn of the apple random, so it's not always particularly in the same place every single time. So we have a function in JavaScript called, or a object called math, and inside is a function called random, and it gives us a random number from 0 to 1. It's basically a decimal. But then we multiply that 0 to 1 with the value from the division here, which if we have like a game width of 200 and 20 grid size, 200 divided by 20 would be 10. That 10 multiplies with the math random, which is that decimal, and we get a single digit from it. So if it's 0.5 out of 10, it's going to use the value 5. 5 becomes the location of our x. That's it. It's a little bit of a twist when you're looking at the specific details. It's a lot of math. Well, by the definition, by Grok's definition, vibe coding is an informal term for programming in a relaxed, intuitive state. Casual, messy approach. Welcome. Immersing oneself in the process, often with music. Hello. So we are in the math vibing, or sorry, vibe coding process as we speak. So that's definition based on graph. Oh, Skippy-DB toilet? No thanks. No thanks. That thing is so weird. It gives me nightmares. It's what are those called? The dreams? Those horrible dreams. Anyway. So I haven't done any of the code in did I do this yet? No, okay. So I did a basic template in Grok. I'm testing basically two AIs that I want to test. First, it's my local AI, see how it does with its own programming, which is the Mistral model, using Olama as the host. That basically means I can use my graphics card to generate AI responses, which is a free alternative to having to pay money online. Fair. I mean, I've kind of started from the get-go a little bit. I know maybe you haven't seen the previous streams on variables and all that stuff, but you know, in the case, I've kind of went over variable basics. You can name your variables anything you want, and it's always a case of the variable from the right side attaching or basically being saved on the left side of the equal sign. So the equal sign is a nice divider to keep track of. So you take anything from the right, in this case, a specific value from the game container, and we save it into a new variable called game width. But this requires a little bit more object-oriented knowledge, so I won't go too much into detail there. Apple POS position, so we got our X value here. The Y does the same thing. We still got a math floor, math random, and game height, game grid, divided by game, grid size. Then the snake itself. So basically, we're randomly spawning the apple that's going to be eaten, the snake that's going to go and eat the snake, and then the direction that it's initially starting, it seems like, because it has to have a direction of movement right off the bat. All right, so those are the variables we're using based on a JavaScript. Next, we got to create some, let's handle the keyboard. All right, perfect. How do you control keyboard on a program? Well, you create a listener. So window, which is in JavaScript, has some special attachments to it. This one is the add event listener. It's a function, and it listens for key down. Or there's another one for key press or key up. There's also on click. There's a couple of different ways that our browser is actively listening to the things we do. No, I have not seen that, and I wish not to. Ah, fever dreams. Yes. Skibidi, whatever toilet just reminds me of horrible fever dreams. Anyway, when the activating keyboard happens, the key, the mouse click, whatever, we run a function. And in that function, we have to make a judgment call. What is being understood? We pass something called an event. That's a normal variable for, or we can name it anything we want. We can put E there, we can put P there, whatever. But this function for the key down and the add event listener automatically passes the current key that was pressed. Then names it the event. Event is just basically a holder for whatever happened, and we can extract the key code. Then we can identify. Are we doing case 37? Interesting key. We're using numerical values. Actually, hold on. It's doing left arrow, up arrow. Wait, did I give it? No, I didn't give it that instruction, did I? I did. I told it to do WASD. WASD keys. Okay, so I guess it chose not to do the WASD keys and just did the arrow keys themselves. So the left arrow keyboard value is 37. Up arrow key value is 38, 39 for right, and 40 for the down arrow. This is just how the computer registers what key is being pressed with a value, a numerical value. Then we have if direction is not equal to right, we can set the direction to left. This is a very interesting one, and actually I'm very impressed that the AI caught this. I've made this and I've had classes with students on how to create a snake game from scratch. And this is basically saying if we're moving to the right, we don't want to all of a sudden go left. It's like kind of going on top of itself. So as long as the direction is not equal to being the right direction, we can indeed change to the left. It's kind of a gaming mechanic. We don't want the snake to like walk on top of itself. It kind of breaks a little bit of the game. I guess, I mean, you can make it a feature, but normally the snake will destroy itself if it touches its tail. So that's kind of the key to the snake game. Same thing with the direction does not equal to down. If we're not going down, then okay, we can go up. If we're not going left, we can go right. And if we're not going up, we can make a down move. So there's your keyboard being listened to. What's going on, coding youngster? Welcome in. Let's see. Lastly, let's create the game loop. Grant, you're just trolling. I know you're trolling. Lastly, we're going to create the game loop. This is important. A game loop is how games have existed since the beginning. Very beginning. We have a continuous loop until we hit ourselves, like the winning condition of a snake game, for instance. If the snake hits itself, game loop over. Game ends, and we put a little you lose sign. I guess the winning condition is if we fill in normally more than 80% of the grid with the snake without dying. Something like that. The winning condition can vary. So let's see what we have currently. We're creating a two-dimensional container, and we're using that for the game container. So game container, again, as a reminder, is just a little div right here, which is interesting because normally we use a canvas for this. I wonder if I have to change that from a div to a canvas. That might be the first error I'm spotting from the AI. Next, we create a for loop. This for loop continues to go in circles. I starting at 0. So we start counting from 0. We increase the I by 1. That's the I++ at the end here. And we check I for an inequality. Is it less than the snake length? Okay. And we're drawing the snake. That's what's happening here. We're creating a segment for the snake of a particular length, I. And we're filling the rectangle. We're filling the rectangle with a segment X, segment Y, and grid size. I'm very curious to see what it's gonna do now. The logic is kind of running. We don't want a grid size. Oh, true. Grid size could be like the width of the tiny squares. So I can see that. We're kind of creating that fill on the size of the tiny square that would make the grid of the game. And we also fill in the rectangle for the apple position. There's no color, so I'm thinking that they're not going to look any different from each other. So the snake might look exactly like the apple, but hey, we're just kind of working with what we have at the AI level. Then we create a function to start the game. So we need to basically create a function that starts the drawing process, starts the game, or not the game, but creates the process of repeating that game loop over and over. And then we have a function that activates that particular game loop itself. Interesting. I feel like there's a weirdness here. We have a double function here and a function here. I don't know if that's possible, unless that's something new. We'll have to see. Let me see what's gonna happen so far. I wonder if it's gonna be an error. This is the thing with using AI for code. It may not always provide... Yeah, move snake not defined. Oh, okay. So it's actually running through. It saw move snake, it knows draw, but it did not see move snake, which is probably the next... Oh, it didn't give us a move snake function. Okay, well, let's tell it. You'll need to implement the move snake. Snake is colliding. Okay, so implement. Maybe it just ran out of context length, so I gotta ask it, hey, implement move snake function based on the previous request. So this is just a local AI. This would be much easier with Grok, let's say, or ChatGPT or something like that. So let's see, up, down. Okay, grid size plus head movement on the grid size value. Okay, this seems fair. Let's try it out. So I'm gonna create move snake here. So here's what's happening. This switch, or this chosen, or basically selection process based on the key that we press. If we press 37 for left, we're saving a variable called left. So it's telling the computer or the program that we want it to move to the left. And as soon as we press 38 or up arrow, it's going to change left to up. And this doesn't make the movement happen. This is just a variable that saves the actual value. What do you mean ChatGPT can join my game? I mean, if it's a username called ChatGPT. So this direction variable holds the direction we want to go. This is the actual movement. So we're testing, hey, direction, what do you contain? Do you contain up, down, left, or right? So if it goes up, if we basically press the up arrow to move up, that would be what saves based on this option here. So direction equals up. Then we actually do the math that makes the movement. We take the head of the snake, and interestingly enough, we subtract. You would imagine, wait a second, hold on. Why are we subtracting? If up, isn't that plus? I know a little bit of algebra, right? On an XY grade, up is up is plus, down is negative. Wow. Let me blow your mind for a second. Let me grab my tablet. Because computers turn everything on its upside down. So the computer doesn't use a nice X and Y axis that we do in our typical algebra. What's going on, Ravi? Welcome in. The computer does something interesting. It uses almost like an inverted graph. So let me hook the tablet up. I'm going to that whiteboard. I'm gonna have to cut off the music for a second, but my computer's still playing it. Hold on. All right. So normally we say, hey, this is an XY axis. Cool. Up is plus, right is plus, and we don't have to worry about left. Maybe sometimes we don't have to worry about down, but we should kind of think, all right, plus is up on the Y. If we add a Y or add a value to Y, we go up. If we add a value to X, we go right. Then if we subtract the value from X, we go left. We subtract the value from Y, we go down. That's your typical coordinate system. But computers, they read code a little bit different. They read code from top and then to the right, and then they go down to the bottom. So appropriately, this is how our X and Y axis looks because a computer basically likes to read differently. Not only does a computer start at 0 when we count numbers, unfortunately, so off by one error, remember everything starts at 0 on the computer level, but also computers read code in the top to right and then bottom format. So what does that make this case? Well, this is our 0, 0 location. This is where 0, 0 is the origin of our particular 3D gaming program. So right now we're doing JavaScript. We're doing JavaScript. Oh God, chat's getting rowdy. Uh, the music, yeah, not the music. It'll be back, don't worry, it'll be back. Just look at the little dancing guy over here on the screen, he's chilling. So 0, 0 is actually the most top left corner. Set that as a standard, kind of adjust your brain to think about that. Negatives don't exist in arrays. So we're kind of thinking about, all right, a computer starts at 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the values that would be, hey, 1, 2, 3, values that would be. Man, I was a rapper, didn't even know. You would essentially count 0, 1, 2, 3 to a higher value. So then that's what's happening here. The array is organized in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive values increasing over time, that direction. Then we do the next set. We kind of have like a, call a nested array, an array inside of an array. So like, how can I describe that? Let's imagine this 0 was not just 0, but that was an array of its own, and that had 0, 1, 2, 3s. And we can make it as big as we want. And then this one had another set of 0, 1, 2, 3s, another array nested, and so on and so forth. So this is a nested. It's an array, and then inside is another array. Nifty, huh? If that didn't get complicated, that's pretty insane. But that only means that the outside, let's call this the red array, the outside array of values is just talking about the x-axis. So anything on the very outside, this would still be considered 0 location-wise on the array, the 0 location. This would be considered 1. This is 2, this is 3, and so on and so forth. So that's the 1, 2, 3 we see here. Now, the inside array is the values that I'll point out as green. Those values now end up being what we would simulate as a y-axis. It's not truly a y-axis, but because we're kind of using two values being involved, it simulates a 1, 2, 3, and so on. So not only does the 0, this is the 0 location, it has a 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 location has a 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, 4, and then 5 down here. The 2 has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. There's our grid. We're using this as a form of creating our game grid. Today, Today we are creating a snake game using AI and testing out what a local AI does or how a local AI will create the snake game versus how something like Grok will. I don't normally use ChatGPT, but I'm sure that will do the similar thing. But right now we're creating a few moments later. Hey, when I'm in the zone, man, when I'm in the zone of teaching, I get in the zone. This is why having a one-to-one session with me, I can hear you and you can interrupt me and ask you questions. So, and then a call it a coliseum of potentially viewers, it'll be difficult to really keep up, especially if chat gets crazy. So stay rowdy, keep each other up to date because I'm gonna be looking to the chat once in a while, but when I'm in it, I'm in it. So I'm gonna be going through details. So that's how a grid works. This is just a general grid for a computer. This is actually a computer science concept. Well, we are now kind of diving into some computer science organization. How do we organize data on a grid? It's basically a big array that shows our main set of x values, and then we zoom in for the smaller array of smaller values that are contained in the bigger array, and so on and so forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then yada yada yada. But it's basically going to look like this, right? We haven't done too much arrays in the sessions before. We have gone over variables, so arrays may not be quite. That's fair. I do want to check it out and see if it works out. Well, there were some missing pieces, right? So the local AI, it didn't make a move snake, so we need that. Let's do the snake is colliding. Implement. So we got to tell it piece by piece now. Implement the snake is colliding. Snake collide with self function based on the previous query. So now it's going to basically go and create the snake is colliding. This is basically when the snake equals to itself or one of its segmented parts. So let's throw that sucker in here. But Seti, you're also very impatient sometimes. I can't go through all the details so quickly. Yeah. And then what else do we need? Eat apple. And then the eat apple function. So implement eat apple function. So again, this is just a local model run on Olama. We haven't done Grok yet. Now, the big kicker here is this even gonna work? Let me see where apple is. So eat apple here. Good. Eat apple is indeed here. So we are using eat apple. New segment creates a new apple, push the snake. Ah, we're adding on to the snake. There we go. Okay, and then we create a new apple. Generate new apple position. Oh, that's a missing function. All right. So generate, let's see, implement, generate new apple position. Is that what I wanted? Generate new apple position function. So it's very incomplete. I kind of have to prompt it to keep going. And based on that random set of values, math.random, it's going to do a similar way or a similar process to generate new apple. Is position occupied? Ooh, is that a new function? It's making new functions. All right. Implement is position occupied. I'm going to organize these by order. Okay. All right, let's see if we have any missing functions. Is position occupied? Is position occupied? Generate new apple. Eat the apple. Snake is colliding with itself. Request animation frame. That should be, I think that's a built-in function. That's the only thing here. Let me see. Request animation frame. Uncaught. on window, required by only zero parent. Okay, good. So this is at least telling me it exists. This function already exists. I don't have to create it. Keep in mind, all languages have two kind of factors. We have built-in functions given to us by JavaScript. And we have functions we create. So now request, do add event. Should be good. I'm just gonna call it done. Let's check it out. So reveal, open up Snake. Nope, nothing yet. Go to console. Okay, perfect. This is actually one of the first things I saw earlier. We don't want a div here. We want a canvas here because a canvas can be a 2D place, but a div cannot. So that's a easy one to fix. All right, all right. But row, no error, no snake. Start game on load body. Well, let's force it. So if I go here and say start game undefined. What you mean? Oh, wait a minute. Snake.js. Start game. That exists. Start game. Hmm, that's a weird one. Maybe it's being called too soon. Import script snake.js. Let's see if it's importing everything correctly. If I go to the source, open new tab. Okay, so it is looking at the code. It found it. So it looks at it. Start game. Wait, start game. Yeah, right here. Okay. I know that the Grok one's gonna run basically right away. I'm confused at why this is not finding the function, even though it is linked directly. So what I can do is just say, forget that for a second. Let's copy this, throw it in here, create a space for our JavaScript, because I don't want to troubleshoot the file directory stuff right now. Take that. Onload is a weird way to do it. I'm going to keep that out. And then I'm just going to go straight down here and then start game right after the code has been loaded. The very end. Because remember, computer reads from top to bottom. Hmm. Undefined. It is a function. It's identifying it. So when I run it, it returns undefined. Oh, you know what though? This is probably that issue with this weird inner. I didn't think that was gonna work out. Okay, so here's what we can do to fix this. This is just another AI issue. The game loop has to stay outside. Like you can't have a function outside of a function. I thought that was weird in the first place. So starting the game starts the game loop. This is probably what it tried to do. Sometimes AI can kind of like it wants to use the function in a specific place, but instead of using it, it creates it inside of another function. That's what happened here, right? So you got to keep track of some things the AI will do that technically is not proper coding. So instead of using the game loop in this location, it decided to create a whole game loop inside of it. So that's probably what broke that case. Aha. All right, cool. This is actually good. All right, line 77, delta time timestamp, game loop timestamp. Okay, so then we have to give it the last time. So as functions go, we import information from the parentheses, and that last time variable gets passed over to this other variable called timestamp. So basically it gets renamed. And this timestamp is being used inside of this function. Let's see. Code view. You're looking at you're like looking at what? Oh God! Oh God, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. At least nothing happened. Oh, I'm a failure. God, I keep going back and forth. That's when I go back and forth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is when I go crazy because I was like doing the code. I was actually coding and I didn't switch my screen and I was just in it. I was like, oh my God, I'm just trying to figure out why it's not working. I'm totally turning everything off around me. Thanks for the spam. I appreciate that. Okay, so all right. So this is the issue it had. For some reason, this whole function was in here. Like it had a function instead of a function. This was the AI, the local AI. So I had to fix it by moving it outside and calling it here, and then basically pasting that function over here. I need to move the chat a little bit lower. Hold on, because it's in the corner of my eye and I don't have peripheral vision like that. There we go. This should be better. Okay, so we're giving the last time, or if we start the game, time is at 0. We throw in the 0 value for the last time. It gets imported from to the game loop function. And then we try to figure out, what's this though? Last time, last time. Huh. Interesting. Hold on. Timestamp, game loop. Now I got to figure out the logic it was doing here. Hold on. Let me go back a bit. This is how it was. So timestamp, it's using the variable last time equals 0. This last time 0 is the starting initial of the game. But it's also using timestamp. But timestamp, where is that being defined? Let me see. Not being defined anywhere. So that's an interesting thing it's doing. Well, I'd say we're kind of hitting a debugception here. So let's do grok. It's gonna work initially and forever. Now, I do want to try another one later, but all right. Make a yeah, hold on. Implement a snake game in JavaScript, HTML, and basic, because it's probably going to try and do Node.js. So I'm going to say basic JavaScript and HTML. Okay, so this, cool. We'll kind of look at that in a second. Let's make a grok snake. All right, so this is how it should look like, and he's probably going to make it pretty effectively. So there's a canvas. Grok didn't make a mistake on that. It imports the game canvas, it creates the 2D context, and then it even adds a score element. Nice. Grid size 20, so it's using the same factor. Tile count, it actually does the division here before it does it inside. We have a snake XY, 10 and 10. Food, this is kind of like the initial. I think it's always going to spawn at these locations. So a little bit different implementation, but at least it's actually doing everything in one file. I appreciate that. I don't like when it goes into multiple files. Kind of got to go back and forth. And how many lines is it doing it in? It's doing it from 36 to 151, so it's about 110 lines. If we look at this sucker, yeah, give or take same amount. No, 100 and yeah, about the same amount. About the same amount. All right, so that should be it. In the case of Grok being that it is quite the powerful AI. Game score. Oh, it didn't do it. Something's wrong. Collision. Something's colliding. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, all right. Let's see. So, it's going game over right away. So, what's the game over? Game over state score. Clear interval, game loop, game over gets called. When does game over get called? When the head is less than 0, x of value 0. So, okay, this is the collision of the wall. So when we're thinking of that x, y values, 0 is basically the very top or the very left wall. X is going to be greater or equal to the tile count. That's going to be the right wall. Y is less than 0 is the top wall, and then this is the bottom wall. So this is what collision basically does. It's determining where our snake head, the beginning of the snake, is basically hitting onto one of the sides or one of the corners or one of the edges of our game. Then this is the self collide. Much easier, much nicer. So yeah, Grok is implementing this way better. So here we're going through every single part of the snake. So we start at the beginning head of the snake and we go to the snake length, checking every single box that represent the body of the snake. And we're saying, hey, are any of these equal? So is head X and snake X of I, is it equal? So basically, is the head touching one of the body parts, is what's happening here. The head X and the head Y, the coordinates X and Y from the head have to be touching some snake coordinate X and snake coordinate Y. Very beautifully done, Grok. I like it. So clean. So clean. Geez, my AI is a piece of crap. Just saying. See, that's where the logic really starts to play. I can probably fix up the other AI and get it to work, but it's going to be a little bit of a debugging process. That's the only thing when you're doing, that's the only thing that we're doing when we're doing AI coding, we may have to do some debugging. Sorry, I was reading chat. Well, we are. Let me put the music back on. Let's see. So, I think you're not understanding what vibe coding is. Alright, so that's fine. Snake pop, generate food. Okay, cool. So something's activating the end of the game very quickly. Which, let me check something. Okay, hold on. Stop with the alert. Let me change that. Where's that alert popping up? Let's make that a console.log instead, because I don't like alerts. Okay. Ah, look at that. It's a crazy loop that's going on forever. Alright, alright. So game over loops over and over. It's being activated in 121. Game over happens here. Fine. But where is the activator? The alert got in the way, but at least the console log I can see. This is Grok. This is Grok right now. We're analyzing code for a snake game. We're analyzing the AI generated code, JavaScript, on a snake game. And we're trying to figure out what's the best way to get this done without or with the least amount of errors. And so far, the local AI, this local AI, Mistral, that I had to kind of patch everything up and keep giving it commands and blah blah blah, it wasn't doing so hot. But when I did it in Grok, that's the old one. That's the old one. This is the Grok one now. The Grok one is repeating game over forever. So at least neither of them are actually working as expected. One of them just doesn't want to run. It's giving me some errors that I gotta figure out based on the timestamps and some other stuff. That's the old one, the local AI. And then the Grok AI is kind of just forever gaming over on itself. Weirdly enough. I mean, what do you think that... What do you think? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You don't want to analyze code, you just want it to work. I'm sorry, this isn't a fantasy, dude. There's got to be some work to be done somewhere. Vibe coding is coding, and coding requires troubleshooting, and troubleshooting requires thinking and figuring out why stuff doesn't work. I don't know. There's no way to make perfect code even with AI. That's what I'm figuring out, you know? I mean, I'm trying to understand the perspective of your vibe coding. Let's look at Grok's definition again. Writing code based on instinct inspiration. We got a game we want to complete. We got to figure out a progress. So far the progress with Grok is pretty good. The local progress kind of sucks. Embrace a casual, sometimes messy approach. Welcome to being messy. Yeah. Okay. Let AI analyze itself, huh? Okay. Well, how about this? Let's tell it what's happening. Hey Grok, the game you made is looping forever on the game over function. I suppose. So infinite loop function is likely caused by a recursive call to generate food. Alright, generate food. Recursive. Oh, it is actually doing its own recursive call. I hate recursive functions. Weird. Improving generate food function to avoid infinite recursion. Ensuring the game over function fully resets. Yes, I teach mathematics normally. Everything from basic mathematics at like age 8 up to college and university computer science based. So I teach computer science based discrete mathematics, calculus 1, 2, and 3, statistics. But teaching is my full-time job indeed. Okay, so it found that generate food is recalling itself forever. Below is the corrected version, improving the generate function to avoid infinite recursion. Alright, so forget the process. Guys, you know, art isn't the process, it's just the product, you know? That's what we always know about things. This is the trap of AI. You can just basically let it do the thing for you and completely miss any learning process. But hey, we're vibing, right? Alright, let's refresh. Oh, no, it's still doing it. Alright, so generate food. Is it really still doing the exact same error? Hold on, that's the wrong one. Let me open up back. Rock snake. Yeah? Alrighty, Grok, let's go back at that. Forget analyzing code. It's still going in loops on the game over function. Thanks for pointing that out. Sorry the issue persists. The infinite loop game over function likely due to the game loop not properly cleared or generate food function still causing problems. Ensure game over fully halts the game loop and prevents re-entrant calls. Simplify generate food, adding a flag to prevent multiple game over triggers. That's fair. I don't feel like that's gonna really... There's some logic having issues here. Because, like, guys, like, I've done this before. This is the teaching I've done, right? So this is my little teaching folder. I got some old students in here. Let's see. Who did I make a snake game with? Let me do this. I can just search it. Snake game. Index. Basic snake game, guys. Basic snake game, guys. Hold on, does this work? Hold on, can I go up and down? No, this was one of the basic ones that I didn't fulfill. Alright, well, that's not right. This one? No? Nah, there's gotta be a functional one somewhere. Oh, it's in resources, duh. Hold on. Some students make it to the end of the classes, others don't. Resource. Alright. Code, JavaScript, games, and snake game. There it is. So there's the code. Annoying. A lot of stuff. Snake game, guys! Snake game, guys! Freaking snake game. There it is, we did it. From an old class that I did with a student. We did it! It's a long set of code though. I don't think there's a collision on the outside. Claude probably is a little bit better. Yeah, I think there are a couple of better coders out there. I wonder why Grok is doing so poorly. So if you want to learn how to do this step by step, you can take classes with me and have to basically not deal with Grok giving you the same friggin' error every single time. That's annoying. So there it is, there it is. But let's figure it out, I guess, right? Grok, why do you do? All right, so this is the new code. Let's go back to Grok. That's the working version that I have. Oh! No way, Grok. Fuck. He did it! He did it! He flippin' did it! Alright, alright. Alright. See, this one's kind of locked to a grid, which is interesting. Okay. Alright, alright. So, what the heck was the issue? Collision works. Game over. 60. Nice. Alright, so what did he say the issue was? What was the last issue? Because the first issue... Game over, generate food, game over. Adding a flag to prevent multiple triggers. So where was that flag? Game start. There it is. Game over triggered. So once it's true, it doesn't do game over again. Let me see. Game over trigger. False. False. Update. Trigger. Return. Skip. Update if game over. Ah, this is the loop. True, true, true. When the game is over, this is the problem. Ah, true. Let's check that. When you don't close your loop correctly, let me see. Does this one do it? Catch it. There we go. This one has it. When you don't close your loop correctly, you end up going and either, I mean, if you're doing C, C++, Java, you're going to basically overheat. Yep, it does work. You're going to overheat, basically crash your computer. In this case, it just kept giving me the same error over and over and over again. Like what? What kind of crazy stuff? Can we make those? Can we make the snake explode once it's done? Okay, hold on. Okay, now make the snake explode when it collides with something for game over. More exciting. I'll add an explosion effect when a snake collides with a wall or itself for the game to collide. Explosion will be a simple particle animation on the canvas. Nice. Add a particle system triggered. Game over. Each particle has position, velocity, size, color, lifespan. Oh. Maintain simplicity for chill coding vibes, guys. Chill coding vibes. Cool, cool. Let's see how this is gonna work out. Create 20 particles at the snake. Trigger explosion. Everyone likes an explosion, right? Update particles. Alright, let's see. Fair, we don't have any colored apples yet, so we can adjust that. I like to do this. Once I'm kind of playing with code and I see a working version, I'm gonna keep that. Then I'm gonna do a new file called snake1 or 2. I'll get the new code in here. And then I'm gonna keep all segments of code so that I can look at it in the next case scenario and analyze the differences. Okay, let's see. So that... Oh! Well, that's an explosion, I suppose. How did I collide? Wait, hold up. What? I guess I collided with myself? And then... I guess that's a pretty big collision. Okay. Great. Now, can we make the snake body hold the color of the apple that it ate and diversify the apple colors? But I will say, once you get a good process going, it does keep up with the consistent coding. So upgrading your code with Grok is pretty consistent. If I had to do this with the local AI, ooh, I can't even imagine having to do this over and over. Ooh, some pirate music. Muy bien. One of these days, I want to do some networking vibe coding or creating some Python AI for networking, creating servers, scanners, socket stuff. A bit more piratey, if you know what I mean. But for now, we're just chilling with some Snake games. Snake 3.8, Snake 3.html. Upgrade. What's this one gonna do? Ooh, no. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. It just changed the whole Snake. It's alright. I mean, it's not as cool as I thought it would be. And then... Can we make all... I want all of the body parts. Okay, two things I want to change. Can we make sure the color of the fruit being eaten stays constant on the body and doesn't change every time a new fruit is eaten, like a history of apple colors? And also, can we make each part of the snake explode and disappear after explosion in a chain reaction? I do like chain reactions. So apple color history, ensure each snake segment permanently retains the colors. Chain reaction explosion. Modify the previous code. If you haven't liked and subscribed, guys, do like and subscribe for future coding as well, and hit the notification if you haven't yet. I know some of you are consistently coming back. Thank you so much for being here. Just a quick update. And of course, if you want to learn more on programming, I do have a Patreon. You can sign up right away, and we can do some remote education together. Let me see. I gotta plug myself in once in a while, yeah? Okay. Alright, so there's the new set. Let's go for Snake 4. Alright, I'm excited for this one. I really want to see some crazy explosions. No! You're not changing the body correctly, Grok. Why are you doing this, Grok? Hey, that was pretty cool. Oh no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something. It's not letting me see all the good explosions. Update particle draw. Clear interval. I want to see the explosion go everywhere. Trigger chain explosion. Attempts greater than max attempts. How many times is this called? 1, 2, 3. And then game over triggered. I don't want to clear interval yet, but I can what is the word? Set timeout and then do a clear interval after maybe 10 seconds. That should delay the clearing of the whole graph. Alright, alright. The colors not yet. Colors, he hasn't figured out how to save each color to stay on the body. It's kind of always changing color from one to another. Alright, let's collide. Yeah, baby. That's fair. Okay. The colors are not staying on each respective index on the array. The snake is simply morphing or simply changing color to the last eaten fruit. All right. He's from Florida. Florida man. Coding environment though? There's an actual coding environment? Is this something new? I don't see. Also, do they still have that pro space? Hold on. Pro.x.com. Yeah, see? This is what I was talking about, bro. This is how Elon keeps track of the world. He's got like a dashboard set up with like a bunch of different... I forgot this existed until recently. Look at what I was like kind of keeping track of for this whole time. Anyway, quite a dashboard. Alright, let's try stake 5. Nope, not up here. In here. And then refresh, and let's see what we got next. Okay, no, wait, no, not again. Grok, you're fucking up, bro. Come on, Grok. Do the thing, do the thing. Nice. No, if we can have all the colors pop up, that'd be great. Hold on, hold on, hold on. The snake body is still not saving, retaining the colors of the previously eaten apples. The whole body just, I guess, changes based on the last eaten color. I wonder if there would be one in the future. Like a coding environment would be pretty sick. But then that would be kind of like, yeah, fair. See ya, Ravi. Thanks for joining in, bro. Bye. Have a good night. It is getting pretty late, ain't it? Yep, it's pretty late, pretty late. Maybe that'll work. I mean, I'm adjusting the issue to kind of explain that, but maybe I have to be like extremely specific about it. That might be the case. Oh man. Oh, I thought you were saying that the Grok is from Florida. Yeah, yeah, I'm from Florida. Facts. All right. Do we trust this? Do we trust this? Since nothing really changed, I'm just gonna refresh the last 5. That's 4. That's 3, 2, 1. That's the one I made. That's regular snake. All right, let's go back. Snake 5. And let's go. Oh, it's kind of doing it, but look, it goes back to black this time. Weird. Weird. It totally messed it up a bit, huh? It's like it's going in its belly and then disappears. The digestive system takes over. Boop. Oh, I like that so much, man. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Really want to see that actually work out nice. Okay. We are further from the result. Currently, the color of the fruit being eaten gets placed on the snake as it passes through on the snake body as it passes through, but does not get saved onto the snake, and while the whole time the snake remains a black color. Yeah, explosion's pretty sick. Current issue is that snake's body remains black, color initial logic in the function incorrectly. Applying the food's color to the wrong segments are not preserving. Current analysis. Snake stays black. Cause. Color assignment and update is flawed. The new head always inherits the previous head's color. Cause. The color assignment. Okay, so he's analyzing the code for why it's happening. which is black and stays black. So it's basically the head is giving the rest of the snake the color. That which makes sense because the head changes and all of a sudden the rest of the snake changes. So he's doing a good job here. Fix the color. Still being coded. Let's read more. Fix color history update. Ensure snake array correctly tracks the X. Yes. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. For every X and Y value of the body, we need to add in an extra like value to that array, which would be the color that's attached to that location. Okay, so we're getting close. Let's see what it looks like. Oh. We're just exploding, guys, right away. Alright. Weird. Hey Grok. Hey Grok. We're kind of just exploding as soon as we start this time. The game. Getting there, slowly but surely. Super southern music right here. If this doesn't tell you I'm from Florida, I don't know what does. Alright, what you got, Grok? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I guess we don't do the analyzing part and just go straight to letting Grok analyze it for us, huh? Okay, I like this. So the snake head is at location 1010 with that color. The food is this color. Now the case is if it's gonna save it in the array for the body. Let's check. Come on, why we exploding so quick though? We're back at that error. The exploding error. Meh. What's console doing though? Game over state starts immediately after game begins. Something is going on with the game over ending to ending prematurely over and over in a loop again. Ah, thanks for that. Good to know. I'm always wondering how the music is doing in the background with the voiceover and everything, just as long as everything's being heard. I've told him 3 times now. I've been telling him about this, and he fixed it once, and now it's back again. Alright, so there's the Apple colors. There's game start. The update function is the one that's having issues, I think. If X had food... this is the food collision, so we're eating food here. We're drawing all the details on the canvas. It's getting pretty long of a piece of code, ain't it? Generate new food after the food is eaten. Alright. So I am on Snake 5, right? I'm not doing it. I am. Okay, we're back at it. Oh, but we have that error again. Now it's not even saving, it's like on the tail and then it turns black. So it's eating the fruit, but it's not saving it to the body. Alright, I just want to really see a long explosion. Hold on, I'm gonna get a bunch of these. Grab a bunch of these little fruits over here. I really want to see a multicolor explosion, but we're gonna have to wait on that. And then... yeah, no. Nice. That's a good point. We can try that. Let's try it out. Let's make a super grok. New. Using this code for a snake game is a issue with the color of the food not being saved onto the body of the snake in the order in which it was eaten. Make sure that the array index is keeping the fruit color of each body segment correctly attached during motion. I think that's what's happening. There's like an issue. There's an issue with the array saving the correct bits and pieces. I need to give my little bot over here some dad jokes. Whoa. What? Oh. What? Below is a corrected... Okay, update function. Rest of the code remains unchanged unless specified. That is something I told it a long time ago. To only show me the updated versions of the code. Now let's see. I mean, we're gonna see if it fixes it. Alright. Final verification. Snake's head will always be the default color. Sure. Okay. Each body segment will display the color of the food eaten. That might have been an issue too, because the head doesn't necessarily change. It kind of stays on the same color. The body gets the color attached, so because the head is always going to be the initial starting point or starting color, it's probably confusing the code onto how to save all the other indexed segments. Interesting. Let's see. Nope. Nope. Well, at least we're back at the... It's going in the belly and existing at some point. And see, it's still doing the color. Come on. Let's see. No, so it's not the context window. It's still making the same error. Alright, let's see. Snake 5. Come on, Grok. So it does see the explosion segment spot. That actually works when the color is being saved until it disappears. Yeah, still an issue on the color being saved. The snake is still black, but only adjusts color for the X, Y location that the fruit was eaten. Even through the body, the color passes through the snake, not being correctly saved onto the new body segments being attached. Alright, let's see. Snake 1, food color, update explanation and fix solution. Food is eaten, snake grows. Corrected update function. Okay. Game over triggered, still working on that. Update particles, fine. Trigger chain explosion, sweet. Oh, video. Video? I can do that? I wonder if it can do GIFs. Can it do GIFs? I can basically do a very quick GIF and just send it to him. I wonder if that'll make any sense for it. We could try that. Let me see what this one pops up to be. But hey, if Grok can analyze video and GIFs, that's pretty cool. I guess I just attach it, upload it to him. It, her. What's Grok? Is it Grok female or is it male? I'm not sure. Now it's at the tail. All right, well. Let's see if I can do a little GIF on it. Get my handy dandy GIF or screen to GIF. Screen to GIF. Low. Ah, I collided with myself. All right, let's see. I wonder if I can export it as an actual video though. I wonder. Nah, just GIF. That's fine. So, snake collision GIF. Pictures GIFs. Let's see if that'll work. Attach. Pictures, GIF. All files? Not supported. Alright, so then I have to do maybe the other case scenario. Wonder if Cam Studio still functions. It's been a long time since I used that. It's very small. Hold on. Oh, that's a weird one. Jeez, why is it flashing? God, this software is so old. I'm surprised it's still working. Uh-oh. Please, right here. Okay, cool. Whoa. What happened? Hello? Did it crash? Hold on. No, I didn't. Did I select the right region? Yeah, I did, I think. Uh-huh. Oh, geez, I gotta give it to a YouTube space or Google Drive, I guess. Ugh. Did I select it right? No, I did not. Width, height, left. Kinda? Left. 300 top. Yeah, left. Yeah, that kind of looks right. All right, let's check it out. Yep, it works out. Okay, let's see. So I gotta go through the whole process of recording and then set it up on Google Drive, I guess. So let's see if we can do an upload. Testing out Grok's capabilities. That's trippy. Them flashing corners is really giving me like this sort of like back at the club vibes. Nice. I do really appreciate that explosion. It's super nice. Alright, so save this. Downloads. Grok Snake. AVI. Good, good. Alright. I'll just do a quick upload on, I think, YouTube. Because I'm already logged in. That would be an interesting test, just to see if Grok can actually analyze video directly. I mean, that's kind of what mine does. The fabric, what was it called? Unlisted? Public? Whatever. Yeah, okay, that works out. Whoa, hold on, I can't click. Okay, there we go. Okay, I took a video of the current snake functionality for you to see what the issue is in the color feature. Based on, okay, might have to take time. It might be just me seeing it. Let me see if I open up a new browser. No, it's there. Try the video again. It might be processing. Is it visible yet? No, it's not taking the video even though I can see it. That's an odd one. Let me see if I can adjust the Google Drive thing. I'll try the Google Drive real quick. Hold on. Cloud, open with, connect, download, share. Where'd you, oh, okay, there it is. So my drive, share, copy link. All right, let's see. I don't have direct access to viewer download due to access restrictions, blah. Okay. Share. Restricted, only people with access can open the link. Anyone with the link. How about now? Okay. How about now? I still can't access or view the video directly due to my limitations of file sharing platforms. No, there's something weird in that info. I don't think Grok can actually analyze video. It does not seem capable. It doesn't see the YouTube video. It doesn't see the Google file. Let's do the YouTube one again. All right. How about the YouTube video now? Can you analyze it? It seems generic, unrelated YouTube video what? Yeah, it's analyzing the link. Okay, maybe it's because it's a shorthand link. I'm sorry. Let's see if we get the full link. Okay, how about this link? No, it's doing the same. Hold on. What? How about this link? Video of the game based on attempts to access it. The video appears invalid or invalid private.
The truth is,
all right. Well, we killed the vibe and the vibe coding. I think I'm done for the night. It's getting late anyway. So we learned Grok cannot analyze anything other than text at the moment. I don't know where you got that detail, but I don't think that's real. I don't think Grok can analyze anything other than text right now. But I mean, it's not a bad place. Let me do one more thing. I want to finalize this kind of process. Let's see. What's he doing? Okay. What's the issue? Let's describe to him the problem again. I haven't normally had too much issue describing problems to Grok. I've done this multiple times with other games. So, as soon as we eat the snake fruit, when we eat this, okay. The error or the issue being experienced now is when the snake eats the fruit on the grid, the color flashes on the tail end of the body, and then the snake returns to the default black color. Make sure that the individual segments of the snake are saving the color of the fruit that made them exist from the snake eating that particular color. I mean, I don't know. ChatGPT has to ask Grok. I don't know. It's a ChatGPT versus Grok battle at this point. Like, nah. ChatGPT says Grok sucks. ChatGPT talking crap about Grok. I think we broke Grok. Hold on. Okay, no, we're fine. Goal is to ensure that each new body segment added when the snake eats a fruit permanently retains the color of that fruit. So it understands what we're trying to do. The issue is the update function's logic. Snake food eats, grows not removing the tail segment. It grows but not removing is skipped. Okay, that's weird. Briefly flashes and reverts to black. Fix this, we need to ensure the snake eats a fruit. The new segment added to the snake's tail that isn't removed is permanently assigned to the fruit's color. Well, because the last added value on the snake is the tail. So yeah, it is kind of right. And then the tail keeps getting an extra color, but it's not saving that color. Adjust the growth logic to apply the color to the correct segment. Ensure it isn't overwritten during movement. See, this is where I would go into the code. Let me just go into the code. Your vibe coding is killing my vibe. How about that? Where's the array? Where's the array? Okay, there it is. See? That's good. Segment X, segment Y, color, create particle. All right, where's particle? Create particle is here, X, Y, and color. Great. Color, color. So it's tracking the X and the Y value. the size Vx and Vy, and the life 20. Interesting. Why is life there? Particle life. Oh, that's for the particle explosion. Got it. Yeah. See, go into the code now, he says. I should probably do that in between Grok thinking. So we create a particle. We're saving the color. In fact, I wonder. Here's where we can do some debugging. Wish I can pause the snake moving. So head XY, score, snake pop, remove tail if no food is eat. Why is it removing the tail? What are you doing, Grok? Hold on, you don't really remove the tail. That's weird. Okay, hold on. Let's get the new code. I don't know why he's removing the tail. So... okay, back to that. Oh. I just walked into a wall. Hold on. I'm getting tired and sleepy and my eyes can't stay open. It's removing something. Why is it removing something? Okay, hold on. So now I'm gonna go in the code. I don't want it to remove the tail. Why are we removing tail, Grok? We don't need this. Pop. Don't pop anything out. We're just existing. Whoa, true. We are... oh, interesting. Interesting. We win. We forever grow. No fruit needed. Ooh. Ooh. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that, man. Ah, yes. The satisfying particles. Ah. Oh, it saved all the colors. Look. You've got the red one, the blue one, the purple one. So they kind of saved in the very center. I do like that. I'm gonna do that again. Hold on. I'm gonna do like a full... forget the actual game of Snake. We're doing something fun. Oh! Wait a minute. I can't get there. Yeah, the particles. Look at the particles. Yup. I do like this. This is some fun animation stuff. So red. Alright. One more time. Let me grab this. Let me grab this. It's so satisfying. Oh no! Too soon! Alright, well. Alright, so we do want to remove the tail then. Fine. Let's pop the snail. Make the snail pop the tail. I think I know the issue. Push X and Y. Generate food. And then, okay. I think it's in the move. I think it's in the move. The snake move area. Hold on. Snake move. Go. Move. Move. Move snake. Move snake only if there's a direction. The head of the snake goes in the direction. The snake of the color head is this. Snake unshift head. Unshift. Check collision only if moving. Store the current tail before adding the new head. For each snail length of the body. Oh, this is when the collision happens and we trigger the explosion. Okay. Interesting. Score plus equals to 10. Generate food. Push that particular previous tail value on the X. Right, so as soon as the snake moves off of the fruit, that previous tail gains an extra segment. But when that happens, I really need to... hold on. I'm gonna do two things. Add a pause button to the game for when the keyboard key is pressed. So we're gonna put a pause. We always need to kind of stop at a specific time point and check the console. I'm gonna print some stuff in console to see what the contained array looks like, every single kind of movement. And then from there, we might be able to kind of deduct a little bit of troubleshooting for why that tail is not particularly changing the way we want it to. Potentially, that's what it's gonna be. Explosion Q, dot, 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 snake, clear snake for visual effect. Yeah. I mean, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to clear each segment independently, but you know what? I'm not gonna. It still looks sick, so whatever. Alright, so now, if I play the game. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, you show me that explosion. Forever explode, don't ever stop, baby! Why isn't it stopping? That's awesome, actually. Yes, look at those particles. Can I zoom into this? Oh, hell yeah. Look at this sucker. Nice. Alright. Okay. The window's moving up and down. Alright, alright. Can I pause it? Yes, okay. So we pause here. Go to inspector. Now I should be able to take a look at, oh, maybe, let's see. Where's my variables? My variables are score, X, food, snake. Let's take a look at snake. Here's the body. All of them are 333. All right, let's unpause. And then we press snake again. So it is accepting the last value. This is tail. But I guess because, okay. Because normally when we move the snake, and this is probably a much more complicated problem. When we move the snake, we do technically destruct the last part of the snake. That's the typical logic for a snake game. You destroy... Yeah, that's true. Some can, if anyone's got any ideas, go for it. Jump in with a possible solution here. But we're destroying the last part of the snake. Hey, Shadow. Kitty cat. We're destroying the last part of the snake. And then we're creating a new one in front. So the head... So each individual piece doesn't necessarily move rather than just get displaced. Which is why we're not saving the individual colors. Okay, help me think, Shadow. Help me think, Shadow. Think, help me. Help me! Ah! Okay, there we go. That works. Nah, I think I'm done for tonight, though. I think this is gonna be an interesting extra adjustment. I do like the explosions, though, but I can't continue on forward, or I can do this on the side, and when I find a solution, add it to the video version of this stream. So, thank you for joining. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate you coming in. Subscribe, like, turn notifications on. We do plenty of programming in all kinds of languages here today with the JavaScript. We did some AI vibing, and we got to a pretty good, actually really good place. We decided to give the snake a little bit extra detail, especially that little detail right there. Actually, you know what I want to do again? Hold on. I want to remove the snake pop again. I just wanna make the longest explosion. Let's go. So we were trying to get the snake to change color based on the details of what fruit it eats. Can I fill? Nope. I messed up already. But we did get the explosion to work very nicely. Very satisfyingly. I hope it gets stuck in the middle again, just kind of hovers. Yeah. Oh. Whatever. Anyway, good night. Have a great day, depending on where you are in the world. Enjoy yourself, and I will see you next time.